Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our webinar on B2B sustainability. It's so great to see so many people from all over the world. I'm Morten. This is James.
Good morning or good evening, wherever you are.
Yeah, because that's the point, James. Actually, we're so excited because there's so many people here today from all over the world. So welcome to all of you. We should wait just a few minutes because we can see a lot of participants still coming in. So let's just give it a minute to 09:02, and then we'll start this in a couple of seconds. I can actually see that there are more people just signing in now, James. I will just share that with you as well, so you may be able to get them into the webinar. It's a little bit late, but just bear with us. There we go. Okay, let's roll. It's 0900 and 2 minutes past actually, and we love being precise. But as I said, we've really been looking forward to this topic. It's top exciting, and I think the fact that we're so many people from all over the world just proves that that this is a highly relevant topic. So I don't know, James, are you ready to?
Well, let me just send this.
Okay, we will just send the registration details to those participants who just signed up, and then we will roll. And while we're waiting, I hope you're all well and that you have had time to get a cup of coffee. And now over to you, James.
All right, thank you. Morten, perhaps you could just bring up the slides there.
Yeah.
Okay, so sorry for the little delay in getting started there. Yeah, but it's great to have you on board, and we've got a very important topic to talk about that's generating a lot of interest. And that is sustainability marketing. And you can see from this chart here, this is a little barometer of how this topic is taking off. The UN Sustainable Development Goals, since they launched, have been steadily increasing in interest. And you can see from this chart here that the World Economic Forum has for quite some years now been talking about this new concept of stakeholder capitalism, where you have to pay more attention to to the various different stakeholders of your business, and not just the investors and shareholders, but taking on board input from employees, customers, and regulators and others as well, and the world at large. And it's an increasingly, part of your license to operate as a business to operate in this way. And we also, of course, had, or still have, unfortunately, the war in Ukraine at the moment. And what does that mean for sustainability? Well, we've seen a lot of rising prices of raw materials and energy, and this, of course, is creating the demand for energy independence. It's going to be spurring interest in investing in renewable energy and reusing materials. So the more that that companies are able to make advances in this area and make their customers know about it, then that's going to be an advantage for them. So that was just a brief little introduction to the topic. We'll go more into it. The agenda for today is Morten and I will just say who we are, so you know a little bit about who we are, and then we'll move into the main part of our presentation, part one or part two here. Why market your sustainability to customers, and then we get into more of the nuts and bolts about how to do it, and then we will just finish up with a little offer. So I hope you got a coffee or a gin and tonic, and yeah, the slides will be shared, so you don't need to take crazy notes, and we will also record the session as well. We hope still to have a little bit of time for Q&A at the end, but you can also send us any questions on email as well. So as I've got the mic, I'll just do a little introduction to myself. And so I actually, I've been a scuba diver for the last 20 years or so. And when I first started out, this is what the coral reefs look like on the left. And gradually over time, I was seeing more and more of the reefs on the right. And this is in parallel with my career, also over 20 years. I've been a B2B marketing leader, both in agencies, but also in international B2B companies running teams. And and I was increasingly wondering, okay, am I part of the problem, or am I part of the solution here? In 2018, I decided I want to be part of the solution. So I went back to school. I did an MBA at Copenhagen Business School with a focus on sustainability. And since then, I've been incorporating sustainability into my work. And so I have my company is Magnetize, and the vision for Magnetize is for sustainable products to outsell conventional products. And the mission of the company is to help B2B companies who are investing in sustainability turn that sustainability into a competitive advantage. We offer strategy and content. So on the strategy side, helping with positioning and messaging, creative communications concepts and plans. And that's both for corporate sustainability and product sustainability, and then translating all those strategies into marketing deliverables that you will be familiar, web pages, social posts, infographics, etc. But also sometimes getting involved with creating annual sustainability reports. Morten, right, intro to you.
Thank you very much. And I could take over just straight from what you've been talking about, James, about content. I'm Morten. I'm co-founder and partner of Blue Business. We work with B2B companies across the world on demand generation. I'm particularly interested in account-based marketing. So why am I here today? Because I think the topic is incredibly important. And I also believe there's a big commercial opportunity for B2B companies to improve their market position and build demand. So when we do account-based marketing projects, we talk a lot about engagement. And engagement is actually a function of the ability to reach the relevance of your message and your brand. And I will not be talking about reach today, but I will be talking about, or we will be talking about the relevance. Do you have a relevant message, a message that resonates with your audience, and how strong is your brand and how relevant is it? So that's part of the topic that and the session that James will be talking very much about. Now, James and I, we've been fortunate enough to work for a number of international companies. My personal introduction to sustainability came through Salling Group, as the biggest retailer in Denmark, and we've done their sustainability reporting for a couple of years. And Salling Group showed to me how much can companies actually do because they have the power to execute. So I'm very grateful for that influence, and you will see that companies have a fantastic opportunity now to influence and change the world. That's what we'll be talking about. So, but that was enough about us. Now we would like to hear something from you. So we will launch the first poll and just give you a chance to to consider where are you. So we are launching it now. We'll be spending, let's give you a minute or two. So the questions here are, do you have a sustainability strategy? How important is sustainability to your business? And to what degree have you commercialized your sustainability? And James and I, we've done these webinars, 3 times now, 4 times, and it's been encouraging to see that there's a development, and more companies are actually convinced that that sustainability has to have a place strategically. And I can actually see that as we were just watching here, as the participants are, you guys are filling in the forms. We only have 43% participation right now, but I think it could be because of the sign-up problems that we have. So let me just check the watch. I think we will end it now and ready to share the results. So 71%, and please remember, James, to take a screenshot of this.
I think you need to press share results.
I do that. I beg your pardon. So we have the results here now. 71% says you have a sustainability strategy. 29% says no. That's maybe a little bit surprising. How important is sustainability to your business? It's very important. I mean, very important or somewhat important. That's good to see. To what degree have you commercialized your sustainability? 57% says to a high degree, 43% says to some degree, and nobody has commercialized their sustainability strategy. I think that's very, very encouraging. Okay, we will stop sharing the results. Do you have any comments, James?
No, I think in the interest of time, we should get moving.
We'll get moving. So, okay, let me just. So the next part of this webinar is about why market your sustainability to customers, and we're going to share a lot of data, and some of you may know this data. In that case, it's fine. For those of you who are unaware of this data, we hope that it will inspire you, enable you to go to your peers, to your boards, to your directors, or wherever you are, and change the world together with us. So if we start in the helicopter and look at the value chain, this is from a Danish company named Levi Møller. And what you will see is that in the middle, you have the low risk area of your value chain, and the other end you have the high risk. And a lot of companies have today outsourced their either end of the value chain, and therefore it's a huge challenge to manage your value chain and get the data. And especially if you look at the biggest opportunity and the biggest challenge is at the end of the life cycle. How do you manage that? And one of the reasons, one of the ways you can do that is by joining an organization called EcoVadis. They were formed in 2017, and today more than 75,000 companies are using EcoVadis to help document the value chain. One of our customers, Atea, which you can see here on the screenshot here, they're actually using it on their website to document and prove that sustainability performance. So it's a great way, a similar organization to EcoVadis, but we just think it's an interesting way to go if you have challenges managing your value chain. There's also CDP, that's a global organization. They're members who cover some of the largest corporations in Europe and the US. Together they have 4.3 million in procurement spending, and CDP is helping their customers comply. They're helping to put down demands on the suppliers. Of, it could be BMW is a member of CDP. So if you want to sell into BMW, you have to adhere to the standards of CDP. So incredibly powerful organization that will definitely move the B2B buying. We can also see that companies are changing their buying habits. Novi is a B2B marketplace for sustainable purchasing, and they grew by more than 300%. Salesforce have said we want all our suppliers to have science-based climate targets in 2 years' time. And just found this one from Tesco, the UK retailer. They're saying on toothpaste they want to remove cardboard, saving 680 tons a year of cardboard. So all over the place we see a lot of action, and we see a lot of systems that are backing up this entire movement. And why is it? Well, the positive thing is that consumers are actually willing to pay for sustainability. One thing is that at the top of the funnel that you have the aspiration to do it, but in this very recent survey from Simon Kirscher, who are advising B2B companies on pricing strategies, 34% of consumers say we're actually willing to spend money on pay more for sustainable products. How is that influencing the performance of B2B companies? Well, this data which shows that companies who are marketing sustainable products are growing faster than the standard market. They're actually outperforming the total market. Fits nicely in with this statistics from McKinsey saying that top ESG performers actually enjoy faster growth, and they are also increasing their margins. And one of the reasons that you can say that they're increasing the margins is that when you're working with sustainability, you become more efficient and you reduce your waste, and thereby your margin is obviously going up. We have across the board, so you could say, does this influence just one sector or is it across the board? And this sector could be a little bit difficult to read, but down here you can see all the segment and the industries. And across all of these industries, twice as many companies, 40%, expect their sustainability programs to generate value in the next 5 years compared to the previous 5 years. So it just confirms that you should do it. Of course, you should do it because we need it on this planet, but it's also good for business. Here's an example from the chemical industry where the return to shareholders is substantially higher if you're selling or have a more sustainable product portfolio. And how does that influence with marketing, or what role can marketing play? This chart from McKinsey, where the light blue ones are what McKinsey determines are the value creators, and the darker ones are all the others. And you can say that, you know, on the left hand side here, where you say this is really marketing's core area of responsibility, that you are able to listen to the market and make your messaging relevant. If you, then you're definitely creating more value. If you're marketing your products or services, you're creating more value. And just a small thing, that if you're putting the message of sustainability onto your packaging, that's what the successful companies are doing. And then you get into the category of a value creator, and that's, I guess, is where we all want to be. We all know that money makes the world go around, and the CEO of Unilever, he's saying he now spends more time discussing ESG than he's discussing last quarter's results. You can see this is from BlackRock, which is, I guess, is one of the biggest investors in the world, that the estimated funds allocated towards sustainable investment is just tremendous. This Danish company, FL Smith, within the mining industry, suppliers to the mining industry, they have 5 persons just collecting data and submitting data every week. So all indications are that the topic is just growing. You can also see that in terms of climate reporting. I know, James, you're coming back with a few comments on the CSR reports a little bit later, but you can see the increase in reporting on a corporate level. It's very much driven by Europe and Americas, but we're just seeing a fantastic growth. How is it influencing, or maybe that's why it's influenced, but now in the UK, more than half of top management, their pay package is influenced by the ESG performance. Even in Denmark, the latest data we have is that 40% of the companies on the stock exchange, the management is that performance is also, the payment schedules are also influenced by their sustainability performance. So this is from top management and all the way down. So how does it influence the buying decision? I talked a little bit about buying organizations like CDP, but it is a very recent survey by Deloitte. 57% of B2B buyers are saying sustainability influences the purchase decision somewhat or decisively. And 48% of B2B companies are actually encouraging their suppliers to meet specific criteria. And from our discussions with B2B companies, we see that it's just in everyday life, it's just becoming something that you have to adhere to and have a professional attitude towards. The Danish Confederation of Industry is saying this, done a survey saying that 63% of companies agree that sustainability is an important competitive parameter. But it's also, to some degree, maybe is a generational shift that buyers who are under the age of 45, they are twice as likely to prefer a brand who has a stance on environmental and also social issues. And you talk a little bit more about social issues as well. So it's across the board that we are seeing this transition. So I will leave it to you now, James.
I'll say.
I know, just one comment here. It's been a lot of data, and I hope some of it will resonate with you. Now, over to you, James.
All right, thank you. Yes, okay. So a lot of a big picture data there, and just diving a little bit more into the B2B world specifically. Sustainability can be used to differentiate your brand, and this is a problem for many companies, is that their products and services are seen as commodities by buyers. Only 31% of B2B marketers believe their brand communicates a distinct purpose or strong USP, and 71% of B2B customers don't feel engaged with their B2B suppliers. So it's a great opportunity. If you're investing in this area, you've got something new to talk about with your customers. And we got a case study which actually goes into this in more detail, illustrates how one company did it. How far you can go with your differentiation depends somewhat on how much you're investing in sustainability. Just take a look at the chart at the bottom here. In the middle, 48%, roughly half of all companies are spending like the average amount on sustainability. This is within the food industry, this chart. And then on the left, a quarter spending less, and then on the right, a quarter spending more. So clearly, if you're spending more, then that gives you the opportunity to perhaps be more distinctive and be taking sustainability actions that your competitors are not taking. And that gives you a great opportunity to communicate. But also, even if you're in the middle and you're more or less keeping up with your peers on your sustainability initiatives, you still need to communicate about that because customers need to know about it. And then if you're one of the ones on the left-hand side who's underinvesting in sustainability compared to others, then that can create a challenging environment as the market moves. So hopefully you won't be one of those. And just to illustrate that point, let's say this is your situation today. Your company, your competitors, and your customers. So the orange segment there is what is your company offering that your customers want that your competitors are not offering. So that's your current competitive advantage in your current market. And as we see that as we've seen, customers increasingly want sustainability. So if you're starting to communicate around that, then your position shifts down. It shifts closer to where your customers are. So the overlap between what you're offering and what your customers want gets bigger. So by repositioning yourself and making sure that your customers know about that, you can grow your market. And so when you do market your sustainability, you're strengthening your brand because you're creating some differentiation, and that also helps to achieve higher prices, as we've seen in some of the previous slides. But for many companies, it's actually not about charging more. Yes, there might be an increased cost of taking some sustainability initiatives, but actually many companies are not increasing their prices. They're just using their sustainability features in order to increase their win rate, and so grow their business that way. A sustainability report. This is many companies have gone down this road, starting with the bigger companies, but it's also filtering down into the medium and smaller companies as well, that are creating sustainability reports. And these are fantastic resources because it forces you to gather together all of the data on an annual basis and systemize that. However, these are 30, 50, perhaps 100-page reports that your customers are highly unlikely to go through in detail. So we need to make sure that we're picking out the most relevant points from these reports for customers and packaging them up in a way that is appealing and easy to access for customers. So that's the role of marketing. It can't just be left on the shoulders of your sustainability department to do that task. And that's coming in B2B, and it's already established in B2C, which is a little bit ahead. But this is a growing movement. We had 1.7 trillion climate package and social safety net passed by the Senate just recently. That's going to grow to $5 trillion, with all the private investment that goes into that as well. And the European Green Deal strives for climate neutrality in Europe by 2050. That's driving a huge amount of regulation that's coming in the next few years, which is going to make it really, really important for companies to prove where they are on their sustainability journey and have the data to back it up. And that means that companies are going to be looking to their suppliers to provide that data. So over the next few years, this is going to shake up the status quo in many markets, and mean that there's an opportunity to take the lead and start winning market share for those companies that are nimble. And actually, in many categories, still there is not an established, more environmentally friendly brand. So those ones who are taking some sustainability action and can get that communicated out in front of their customers before their competitors do, have the opportunity to grab that land, to grab that space in the mind of customers, and create that competitive advantage. This guy that you see on the right here, Mauricio Graeber, he's the CEO of Christian Hansen, which is, according to the Corporate Knights ranking the second most sustainable company in the world this year. And he sees sustainability as the biggest commercial opportunity ever, and says the companies that will be the winners of tomorrow are the ones capable of commercializing their innovations to address the global challenges that our world is facing. And as McKinsey puts it here, achieving a net zero world, so that's carbon neutral world, by 2050 may well prove to be the largest reallocation of capital in history, leading to an increase in spending in the range of $1 trillion to $3.5 trillion more per year than today. So a lot of money is going to be changing hands, and I'm sure your businesses would like to be part of one of the beneficiaries of that. Implement Consulting Group is a well-known consulting group within Denmark, and we have many people from Denmark on this call. So they made a very relevant point here about B2B organizations needing to accelerate the translation of their sustainability efforts into a compelling value message to enable growth. So going from making those sustainability investments to actually commercializing them, they see that there's a great opportunity there. And they talk about that value message, and we will get onto that shortly. What if you don't go down this path? Well, your company is going to find that it becomes less and less relevant over time. That it's going to be more difficult to win sales, which could lead to financial difficulties. But it could also mean that you lose talent as well, because a lot of people these days are very motivated by purpose in their job. They want to know that what they're doing for 30, 40 hours a week is meaningful and is having a positive impact in the world. So if you're not part of this wave, then it could also just be part of the decline of your business. And this company, a very big Danish company, a foundry company, the CEO put it like this: our focus had to be a complete green transformation if the company wasn't to end up in the grave within a decade. So it's an urgent priority. Positioning your business takes time. Repositioning it for people to understand the messages and have them sink into their minds and memories. So the sooner you get started with this job, the better. And of course, the more effective you are at it, the better as well. And also, it's an opportunity for marketers, which is the core audience of this webinar, to have that meaning in their job and enjoy the fruits of that feel good. Because if our companies are just investing in sustainability and if we're not commercializing that, and the greener, more socially caring products are not the ones that are winning in the market, then that investment is not being translated into real world impact, which is what we need. Morten.
Yeah. So let's just launch the second poll. And
that's poll one.
Yeah, that's poll one. Let me just. We'll just stop sharing for a moment. Okay, sorry. We'll launch poll 2 now, where we will be asking you what are the reasons why you want to market your sustainability. Is it survival of your business? Is it to improve your competitive position, like James has been talking about? Is it more demands from your buyers, from your customers? Is this to increase the possibility of increasing your pricing and the margins, or is it more this broader thing of having an impact in the world? Let's just see what we have here, James. We could have a few more people participating, I believe. So far, the biggest driver is actually having a positive impact on the world. We will close the poll out of respect of time.
Yeah.
So let's just share the results. And
you have to click share the results.
I have.
Oh.
Am I not sharing?
Share result, press it again. Yeah.
Okay, there you are. So 83% are saying having a positive impact on the world. 50% are saying increase your competitive position, which is actually what we're talking about. I think that's very interesting. Nobody is seeing it as a threat to the survival of the business, a very few. And interesting that only 17% are saying the ability to strengthen your pricing or your profit must be because you are profitable enough at the moment.
Yeah, I think that's consistent though with what we've seen in previous polls when we've run this.
Okay, let's move on so James, how do you do it?
Okay, all right. Well, let's talk about that. Yes, so hopefully you're all convinced that this is a priority. Maybe you're already at that point within your business as well. So let's talk through there's a few steps to doing this, and it's absolutely essential when you're starting out that you have agreement across the business. So step one, that you have consensus amongst your management team that the business case for doing this is understood, and then perhaps your marketing director is going to be put in charge of this and making sure it happens. And therefore, pulling together the resources, making goals and plans, at least at a high level. And then the third point is where a lot of marketers get excited. Well, that's when we start talking about the brand and the message. What themes are we going to talk about here in sustainability? So the content and channels that we're going to be bringing into play. And then fourthly, then making that into an operational plan by developing the sales and marketing assets and then executing them in the various different channels that you have. And then finally, getting that feedback through your various different channels. That they could be digital channels, so digital footprints, but also from salespeople, feedback from conversations with customers. And perhaps you have distributors as well, and then those learnings feeding back into your strategy. Does that need to be updated? What further assets do we need to create? And going through like another wave of communication while tracking your progress. So that's it. That's the high level view. And actually, but making this successful, I'd like to propose that there are 6 keys to establishing a sustainable brand, and we'll just have a slide on each of those now. So the first one is clarity. So being absolutely clear on your positioning and having a short and simple message that everyone within your organization can get the hang of and that can be communicated externally. When you go through this process, you also need to make sure that your sustainability message aligns with what you're saying at a higher level about your company purpose or your overall brand promise. And those things may need to be updated and aligned to ensure that they are congruent throughout your message hierarchy. And here's where also some companies are using the UN Sustainable Development Goals, picking 2 or 3 or 4 of these to help reinforce their message and communicate that message, because these are increasingly well known within the corporate world. Second is credibility. We see a lot in the media about greenwashing, and so it's essential to have facts and stories and data to back up your claim. A trustworthy message hits much harder and really helps to deliver that message into your customers. And it requires real sustainability investment and long-term commitment. This is not simply about talking about the issues or making charitable donations. Customers want to see real action that is taking place to improve your environmental and social performance, and sharing the details of what you're doing and the progress that you're making. Thirdly, customer centricity. So a lot of times when companies are communicating about sustainability, they want to prove to the world that, hey, we're not one of the bad guys. But actually, if you want to do this in the most effective way, then you've got to translate these your sustainability initiatives and progress into ways that are meaningful for customers. So customer centricity is really about understanding your customers. What are their priorities? Sustainability issues. Do they have any emotions attached to these issues? What are their values? And also, at what points in the buying process might they be looking for sustainability information? And as you are making these sustainability investments, sometimes it opens up a new target market, perhaps that has not been available to you in the past because you have not had a green enough profile. So you need to think about that as well, and what do these people want? Fourthly is competitiveness. So are your competitors undertaking the same or different sustainability activities? What is their message and positioning? And how do customers see those competitors' sustainability? You need to find your relative strengths and weaknesses so that you can find a unique position in the market, and you can have a unique message if possible. Ensuring that that your messages actually land and cut through all of the noise. We would recommend that you're using some creativity to have that stop effect and get your customers' attention. Sustainability is a good area for invoking the emotions, as well as rational arguments, and emotions particularly at the top of the funnel, and then as we move down, more rational arguments become relevant. Showing up in multiple channels throughout the customer journey, so you've got that consistency of message helps you to cut through. Another proven way within that researchers have shown is particularly effective within sustainability is delivering social proof. So finding ways to use social proof, and we have a small example of that in our case later. And do ensure that your reach is high enough. It's all very well creating materials, but they've got to land on the doorstep of or desktop of your customers. Finally is commitment. So it's only through consistent, long-term, ongoing communication that you will build and change your sustainability image. So the senior management team and employees have to be on board. You should have a framework for your communication. Here are the topics. Here's the frequency that we're going to be communicating around them, such as sustainability news and progress and investments. So all of these things, these factors come together and reinforce each other. And the more you and as you implement them in your business and communicate them on an ongoing basis, quarter by quarter, or perhaps campaign by campaign, or year by year, you will start to see that your reputation is changing, that customers are understand what you're offering, and you can expect your sales to increase. A little bit more on greenwashing, because it's such a hot topic. There's many headlines, many screenshots we could have put in here about the companies that are in the media on this topic. But a few different points we want to share with you about avoiding greenwashing. So you need to avoid general statements. So if you're saying your product or your company is sustainable, ethical, green, these very, very high level statements, you simply can't use those anymore. And the reason is because you need to be able to document those claims. And these terms are just too huge to be able to prove. And the regulators are getting better funding. They're taking companies to court about this. So you need to protect your reputation by ensuring you have the documentation. And that documentation needs to be easily accessible. So, with a QR code on a package, or within a click on your website as well, so that the customers themselves can satisfy themselves that these claims are realistic. Your facts and figures have got to be up to date. So don't compare your carbon footprint to how it was 20 years ago, for example. And when using a certificate, you can't assume a certificate that shows perhaps that your product is organic or free of harmful chemicals. You can't assume that the logo itself of that certificate will ensure that your customers know what it means. You actually need to provide a sentence of clarification as there to avoid any misunderstandings taking place. And don't create your own certification if there's already a similar one, because this just creates confusion in the market. Your marketing needs to be in proportion to the effort you're making. So if you make a big song and dance about a tiny environmental improvement in your product, then then customers could think, oh, okay, this is a green product, it's safe for me to buy. So that is classed as greenwashing. Don't hide important information, and if you're using claims made by your suppliers, you're responsible for checking their accuracy. But also, this is just a high level list, and it's not comprehensive, but it's a pretty good starting point. But the guidelines are different from one country to the next, so make sure you check the guidelines of the country that you're marketing in. Morten,
right, thanks very much, James. We have about 10 minutes left, so let's speed up.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of figures today. We talked a lot about large companies, and we just wanted to share with you a case from a small company, it's a Danish printing company named KLS Pureprint. And all of you who knows about the printing industry knows that that's been a segment or industry where basically you don't want to be in, because it's just in decline. KLS is a family-owned business, and they were operating in this very negative market, and they decided in 2015 that they needed a new business model, and they were committed to sustainability. So they launched a vision of being the world's most sustainable printing company. And not only did they succeed in retaining their current customers, but they were also able to attract new customers like McDonald's, Pandora, Co-op, companies who were already committed to to sustainability and wanted to work with suppliers who had a sustainable profile. So this is just a very kind of, it's a small example from a small company, but I think it's very inspirational that in a market that is really a tough market, that you can make a difference and create value for yourself, for society, and the shareholders by going the sustainable way, or what we've talked about.
Yeah. Well, I think that they are very much also one of those cases where they would have been dead within 10 years had they not gone down this path.
Right, James?
You can see the, yes. Okay.
So another case.
So we have Amphenol. So this is Amphenol is a much bigger company, and we were working with a business unit within that. This multi-billion-dollar company, and they actually have so the headline here is from commodity to differentiated product. So their business situation is that they're manufacturing antennas for mobile phone networks, the sort of thing that you can see at the top of the tower on the picture there. And they had a lot of big competitors suddenly come in and start undercutting them on price, putting their market share under pressure. So how did they respond? They came up with a new antenna concept, and you can see that it this is you've got, it's a modular design, so you can pull out the various components of the antenna and upgrade it. So but the standard way of making antennas that has been for decades has been it's just one antenna and they're not upgradable. So if you need to upgrade, you have to scrap the entire antenna. This one can be taken down and upgraded. So the campaign was based on a few key insights. So radio access network managers are the top priority audience, and their goal is to keep antennas up to date to support network needs. And that means that across Europe and around the world, thousands of perfectly functioning antennas get scrapped every year just because the network needs to be able to offer better performance. These RAN managers and also the procurement people, they feel bad about that waste, but they see it as unavoidable. And at the same time, most network operators have made carbon reduction commitments. So we help them come up with a message. Okay, so the point of this message is, so when we're making this RAN manager the hero, we're activating subtly their feeling of guilt that they might have about scrapping antennas, and putting them in the decision-making seat about this new choice that they can make. They can either keep scrapping or they can upgrade. So network evolution creates huge piles of waste, contributing to climate change. And then here we're using social proof. So we're showing, but the mobile network operators are responding. Look at all these companies that are committing to reducing their environmental impact. So we're introducing the world's first upgradable antenna. Some simple messages here. So you still get the latest technology, but for 50% of the carbon footprint. And that saving is documented in a white paper, which is available on the campaign landing page. And so the point of this slide is just to show, okay, here we have this consistent message being executed across different channels. And within a few days, they had tremendous traction with this. A lot of impressions on LinkedIn for that video, and they actually sent pretty old school brochures out to 425 contacts across Europe, and now they have sales opportunity with several of Europe's largest operators, and these including companies that they have not been able to penetrate before, because they're talking about something new and different that nobody else is talking about. These companies want to have a conversation with them because it's relevant to their carbon reduction agenda.
So, final poll. Let's see whether we can launch it. It's a little bit more elegantly than last time. This is about your marketing strategy. So what are your top marketing challenges? And I think we've covered some of them throughout this presentation. Is it getting commitments? Is it getting the brand message right? Is it about content? Selecting the right marketing channels, or is it more on the implementation side and measuring impact? So let's just give it a few more seconds. Okay, let's end the poll. We spent 1 minute on our precious time on it. Let's share the results. I hope it's being shared now.
Yes.
So what we're seeing is the biggest challenge is actually measuring impact. That's interesting, especially in a digital world where we have so much data. Second biggest challenge is getting the brand message right. Certainly something that we can help with, and content and implementation plan. Next two biggest challenges. Very, very interesting. Our experience is that a lot of companies have a lot of content, but you're just not aware that it's lying around. But that's another discussion we can take later on. But let's just push on. We have a few minutes left. So James, over to you.
Yeah.
For the final.
Yes. Okay, you advance it then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So before we just have a minute on Q&A, we just wanted to open the door to anyone who would like to have a session with us. You can get in contact with us via the email addresses below, and request a discovery meeting where we start to identify the brand potential that you have, and how we could potentially help you with meeting your goals. Okay, then Q&A. Do we can see the Q&A here? Okay, I thought I saw a question earlier. There are no open no open questions. There's still a minute to go.
We have one. That's a good question. How are the two of you working together?
Okay.
Well, we've been working together for many years on several projects. Although we are independent, we act as one entity when we're doing these projects together.
Yeah, exactly.
And we share the same passion, basically. Is that anything you want?
No.
Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. Yes. Yeah.
Well, thanks for the question.
Yeah. Good working relationship.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think it's just a few seconds before 10 o'clock Danish time, and
any further questions?
it seems you can always get in touch with us by email, of course. That would be fine, or give us a call, and we'll be happy to be in touch with you. So hopefully you've had some useful information here, and that helps you take the next step in your sustainability marketing journey. So yeah, but please do reach out if there's anything that that you would like some help with.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, James, at the beginning, we will share the slides, and we will also share a recording of the webinar. So thanks very much, all of you. Have a great day.
Yeah.
Enjoy the sun wherever you are. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, just put it on mute.